Hi, this is Scott Trout, CEO of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. There are many life changes that can happen after divorce that make it difficult or impossible to uphold requirements of your divorce decree. The orders issued in a divorce are based on the facts presented at that time, but the circumstances used in issuing those orders can obviously change. If you feel a modification to your court orders might be necessary, talk to us at Cordell & Cordell.
Contact CordellCordell.com, 1065 East Hillsdale Boulevard, Suite 310, Foster City, California, 94404.
Let's do this again.
Fire away.
Nope, can't hear it. There we go.
You're listening to The Brian Moote Show with Brad Nolan.
Smooth open, Brad.
Thanks, man. They didn't know anything went wrong.
Well, yeah, but I did. So unless I called you out for it right now, it would burn inside me like a plague of 1,000 suns. I can't let you just get away with your shenanigans over there, your button pressing shenanigans.
That's Brian Moote. My name is Brad Nolan. Lots of big changes coming to the show I'm very excited about.
Like Brad learning how to push the buttons at the right time.
That's not actually ever going to be part of the future of the show. That's not in my plan.
But see, Brad, that's part of the show brand here, is when we screw up and press the wrong buttons, we call it out. Man, we press the wrong button. I do it all the time.
One of the things I'm very excited about, 30th episode is coming up. I don't know why I'm excited about it. I don't know.
Because that means a lot for a show. You know, yeah. 30 shows is a time, it's a commitment, it's a consistency. It's a commitment to the folks who hang out with us and listen, because God knows it's easy for us entertainment folk to just get distracted like hummingbirds and flutter off to another thing. Sometimes I feel like keeping, not me so much, but keeping other people that have been part of this evolving show engaged is like trying to keep a gambling addict from being able to walk in a straight path through a Vegas casino. We're like, no, over here, come on.
I mean, I don't know how many podcasts and shows and just general like content series I've started and then been like, I'm bored. But this isn't boring to me. I really enjoy hanging out with you. I like it when Pat comes in. I like it when Shireen comes in. Yep. This has been fun.
Intern Jordan, we're getting him fired.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's good. We're going to get in. This week's going to be a fun week of shows. Shireen's back. Patrick is getting part of his colon removed.
That's fun.
Yeah, because he's got you guys know, if you've listened. If you haven't, go back and binge listen. But he's battling colon cancer. And we got little intern Jordan.
Yeah, we're building out a real family here.
We are, man. See, that's what happens in 30 episodes.
It's not really a family. I hate it when people say that, honestly. It's a decision we made to be in the same room at the same time.
It's really the only people available currently, given our budget that we have.
So I'm going to close out. I think I'm going to close out season 1 of the show. The podcast version. I think we're going to move on to season 2 in a couple of weeks.
So many plot lines.
I know.
So many plot lines.
You guys didn't even know there were seasons, but if you look online, there's seasons.
I didn't know that, man.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to find out.
Season 1 is about to be done, and we're going to move on. We're going to develop the show. We're going to do fun things like flamethrower news and all the Twitter beef stuff and all that stuff.
Twitter translator, what people tweeted and what they actually wanted to say. It's going to be great.
We're making moves. That's all I'm trying to say. All right, you had stuff to actually talk about.
Yeah,
I was just excited about coming up on our 30th and then 40. I think probably by 35 or 40 episodes, 35 or 40 shows, we will be moving into season 2.
It's so fun, man. We're going to have so many cliffhangers at the end of season 3. We do a recap and like go through all their best moments. One, I want to check in on you because your wife is out of town. You're currently, you've been alone in your house minus your daughter and your wife for what, like close to 10 days? And I was convinced I was going to come back from vacation in Atlanta and you was going to be like Jack Nicholson in The Shining. We're like, what is red rum? Red rum. So if you didn't notice, I would text you every once in a while like, how you doing?
It was funny to me.
How you doing?
Hey, man, how's it going?
Everything good? You good?
How are you doing? No, really, but how are you really doing?
No, but Brad, let's dig a little deeper. How are you really?
My response is always like, no, I'm good, man.
Well, I mean, you smoke 30 cigarettes a day.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll get into that ludicrous claim you made to me just a minute ago at Coffee Bean.
It's 14 days today, by the way, that I've been without.
14 days. So so it means enough that you're counting.
Yeah. No, it's
got to be a weird change, though, right? Like, how weird is that to go from one routine to the other?
Something I'd like to not become permanent You know what I mean? Like when you get people get a glimpse of the greener grass, so to speak, and then they've made a decision to be on that other side. I'm thankful that my wife leaves for a month a year, because then I get to go, oh, no, I like my family. I like them.
See, what's interesting about that, and the reason I was asking is because, so when I do long distance with my girlfriend Jessica, when I leave and come back, we both have the same kind of like, oh, man. Because it's one of those things where we hang out so much when I'm in Atlanta, and then we both kind of go our separate ways for however long until we see each other again, and then we both have to develop our own routine. And so, you're like, oh, how am I gonna, like, what do I even do? Like, what do I do in the afternoons? Like, what do I do?
For me, it's been weird. Like, I've just been trying to get as much work done as possible. Right. Not that my family's an impediment to that, but, I mean,
you never go on the record and say that, but it for sure is.
But also, I probably work too much. So I spent the last couple of weeks trying to, like, get more efficient so that when they do return, I'm, like, spending more time with them, actually. But it's going to be a long time. It's going to be, like, 19, almost 20 days, I think, by the time I see them again, because I'm going to fly up and meet them later this week. The thing is that, like, we've decided because of this, like, no more than 14 days from now on. Like, no more than 2 weeks. Can't do it.
It's a hell of a stretch right there, because then you really start to make those patterns permanent almost. So then it's when she comes back, her and Declan come back, then you've got a situation where you can't remember what it was like. You're like, man, I'm so busy all of a sudden. Like, how do we? Then you're going to have the opposite thing. See, for me, I do. This is bad. This is such a kidless, unmarried guy problem. But I realize when I go back to spend time in Atlanta, I'm knocked completely out of my fitness and like dietary regimen. And I shouldn't be. But the thing is that I realize that my time is finite there. So I'm like, oh my God, let's it's 10 a.m. Let's do mimosas. Let's go out to brunch. Let's do this. Let's do that. And my routine.
I don't want to waste an hour at the gym.
Exactly. Yeah. And my routine out here is very much, radio show, gym, radio show, then sleep, then gym, then it's a big circle like that.
My routine, whether they're here or not, doesn't really include the gym. So I'm fine there.
Yeah, but you did P90X in your house.
Yeah, I know. I did start that. So they left, and then the whole last week I did P90X, and then I've continued it this week, so it's pretty exciting.
So for me, I think we're both having the same thing, because you told me that you're on your last carton of cigarettes.
Yes.
That's it.
Yep.
So I'm bringing it up now because I want to hold you to it.
Yeah, thank you.
On the show, because that is... You smoke a lot, and we've talked before about sometimes I think it's not necessarily because of the cigarettes and the nicotine, though that does play a role in the physical part, but also just the routine of get the hell out of the studio, go sit outside and take a deep breath because I work with a bunch of idiots.
Right. Yeah, mostly.
I mean, we're not going to name names. I'm kidding.
I mean, I've been smoking for 10 years now. And 10 years is a long time. And it also, like, I have a almost 4-year-old. And, like, when you look in the future, you go, what kind of dude do I want to be?
Right.
And so, really, I'm quitting smoking so that I can go down the path of forgiving my father for abandoning me.
Jeez, that took a weird turn. Well, it's one of those things. I look at it where I need, and I feel the same way, because I haven't had any alcohol in like 4 or 5 days, and I hit a point last week where I was drinking a ton, and then we woke up and my girlfriend and I were just chilling, and she's like, "You gonna get a drink or anything?" And I was like, "No," and she's like, "Really?" And I was like, oh, good God, man.
You're like, I'm a drunk.
Jeez. And then I was thinking about alcohol all day, and I'm like, my father had such a crippling alcohol dependency that I just decided, dude, you can't. Like, if you're preoccupied with drinking, I'm not physically addicted, like I'm mentally addicted, and I just want to go get beers.
Yeah.
And so I just decided 2 weeks, no booze, eating healthy, going to the gym every day, gonna try to find abs.
I know
they're still there. Well, I still can. They were in there once before, about 4 years ago, before I started radio.
We started this show off today on a very, very light note. I'm very excited about that. What's coming up next?
Up next, oh man, we're gonna get into some current events here. Justin Bieber and Haley Baldwin. They're engaged.
I can't wait for that cough to go away.
Well, that'll be the cigarettes.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's
right?
what I'm saying, man.
You can actually breathe out loud.
Yeah. I always say, I used to be 10% body fat. Like, okay, but I wasn't a smoker, and I wasn't pounding 8 18 ounces of coffee every hour. All right, let's do this. Ready?
Yo.
The Brian Moote Show with Brad Nolan. Here we have Brian Moote
This better not get me in trouble with my girlfriend.
and Brad Nolan.
No, my wife wants to flip the swinger switch.
Just two boys without man buns.
What's up? My name is Brad Nolan. We definitely need to get some updated imaging for season 2.
Yeah, man, I still stand by that statement. I hope it doesn't get me in trouble. It better not, because that's not appropriate language for something you don't want to get in trouble for. You just say, like, I'm really sorry, I hope this doesn't get me in trouble. You don't say, this better not. You better not be angry at this. Because what I've learned is when you speak like that to women, it's like a magical spell. They become that, right? You're like, don't be angry. And they're like, you just told me not to be angry, and now I'm angry about that.
I think that's how my wife views me as well. Every time she says, don't do something, I'm like, well, now I have to.
Yeah, that's just a stuff. I think a lot of us have that stubborn streak, though. I do, too. I'm like that, it's when a kid, you tell them, don't touch something in a store, and they're like, watch this.
my mom used to tell my brother, don't do whatever it is you're doing. Like, don't touch that box of cereal. Let's say that, right? And then he would go, I'm so sorry. And then actually start crying as he was reaching.
Oh, really?
I
can't control my hands.
It's so funny.
So if you didn't see the news, which I don't, you must not have Twitter, or any social media for that matter, but Justin Bieber, international icon, Canadian.
Yeah.
Whatever, I don't really care. Yeah. Seems like a nice.
There's some great Canadians.
He's just been up. He's had a life in the spotlight, and everybody gives Justin Bieber a lot of crap, right? And I think that if you were honest and you look back at yourself, because all these people are like, "Yo, what a douche." He tried to get a monkey through customs when he was 14.
He was 14.
Bro, I want to get a monkey through customs now. Like, come on. Imagine if you were under that microscope with that kind of money at that age. Every mistake I made, which I'm going to go ahead and say it, I've done way worse things than Justin Bieber in my life in terms of vandalism, destruction of property, sneaking out, just being a complete a-hole to women. Not like my mom. I've always been an angel in her eyes. But like girls that I dated, like just ghosting, just being a complete jerk. And he's been under the microscope forever. And I always say to people, just think about how you would have been if you were that kind of a jerk.
Yeah. With
that kind of money and a car and also camera phones all over you every time you go out of the house.
I was a jerk without money. You know what I mean? If you gave me money, the ego that comes with that, I don't fault the guy.
And they're like, he's immature. I'm like, yeah, I am too. I'm like, at least 15 years older than that. It's just like, lay off on the kid. I was going to say lighten up, and then I said lighten off.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
Lighten off on the kid. It just sounds like I'm encouraging you.
So he's now engaged to
Haley Baldwin.
Haley Baldwin, who is
the daughter of Stephen Baldwin.
Stephen. Oh yeah. Okay. Not one of the better ones.
There's Billy Baldwin.
Okay.
He's the heartthrob of the Baldwins, or at least was. Like, now they're all just kind of like.
Now there's just Alec, right?
Well, I mean, they're still all alive. I just think that the other ones are just not in. There's Daniel, Steven, Billy, and Alec. And Alec's the only one who's still got a career going, and that's like, courtesy of 30 Rock.
Right.
And the Trump impressions, basically. Which, I mean...
Oh, actually, he shows up in a new movie the new TV show called The Looming Tower. It's him and Jeff Daniels. Ooh, it's good.
I love Jeff Daniels.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do a movie if you do a comedy so great, like Dumb and Dumber, you like won Lifetime Achievement Award for me.
Oh yeah,
like Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels had it that as soon as that movie came out,
done. And the thing is, I don't think Jeff Daniels has done a comedy since then.
I think I've seen him in like horror movies and still thought. And
now he does serious stuff.
I just pictured him, wearing an orange tuxedo the whole time. He's like murdering somebody and being a creep. But yeah, so Bieber just got engaged to Haley Baldwin. She's 21. He's 24. And
age appropriate.
Well, for your first engagement.
Nice. Yeah, for your first one.
I mean, let's be honest. 21 and 24, in general, in life, the odds are against you. You're going to make it the distance. Now, add millions and millions of dollars and fame and touring and things. Now, I'm not saying it's 100% against them making it. I don't think they make it to wedding part. I think that they make it to long-term engagement, which they eventually break off, and they go their separate ways. It's just like, I just don't think young engagements really mean anything, and I think that you'll be able to tell by the fact that they won't set a date. They'll never be public with a date.
Yeah, I think traditionally you're right. But to go back to what we were saying before, at 14, the guy was living the life of what shouldn't have been.
Right.
And he's like, maybe he's 15 years older than he is. I feel like that sometimes about myself. When I was 12, I started in radio. So by the time I was 19 in radio, I'm like a veteran of radio. You know what I mean? And so I wonder if the life around him has also gone that fast. And I wonder if the life around her, because of her family, has gone that fast. I don't know. I don't want to completely write it off, but at the same time, like, I think we give age a thing, and then we're like, oh, but what about the life they've lived?
Yeah, I also think, though, that they have had a lot of experience, but there is a thing called hormones. And
especially at 21 and 24.
And I don't care how much life experience you've had. Your hormones don't just go, we're 40 now when you're 21. Like, he still has the male genitalia and a male brain,
right.
And he's on tour with women throwing themselves at him. She's a model.
Yeah, she's a model, and she's got a 21-year-old's hormones.
Though,
you know.
I mean, here's the thing. I had not seen a picture of Haley Baldwin
until
I Googled her today, because I thought she was the one who Alec Baldwin left the message for, calling her like a fat
pig or whatever,
fat awful pig.
Yeah.
Just made Alec Baldwin look so awfully unlikable as a father. Like, you send me to voicemail? Every parent in America was going, my kids don't answer either, bro. What are you so pissed off about? I pay for your cell phone. Oh yeah, my 12-year-old does too.
Yeah.
I looked at a picture of her, and I don't know. I just can't. If I didn't know she was a Baldwin, I would be like, yeah, this girl's pretty. But all I can see is like Billy Baldwin when I look at her. I can't not see a Baldwin face. It just creeps me out. It reminds me of when I was dating a girl and my buddy goes, dude, she looks just like your brother Killian. And that's it.
Yeah, once you see it.
Nah, because you can't unsee that, right?
That's funny.
You can't unsee the Baldwin. Or I have a friend named Charlie Ward. He's great. He works at Paramount. I'm going to totally name drop. I mean, he's just a great dude. His sister is ZZ Ward.
ZZ Ward. She's amazing. I love her so much. I've met her a bunch of times when I lived in Seattle.
Here's the problem. I met Charlie first, okay? And Charlie and ZZ are damn near twins. They are damn near twins. And I met Charlie, and he was like, hey, you got to come check out my sister. This is years ago when I was on a trip to L.A. as a comedian in Seattle. And I'm like, yeah, buddy. He's like, I loved your comedy. Come see my sister play at this small venue. And I saw her, and I love like blues, kind of that feel, and that's what she does. But man, she is like Charlie with a wig on. And, and I just thought to myself, like, stop thinking that that's Charlie's face on her. I just can't make my brain stop looking at Haley Baldwin and just seeing like what it looks like to me is a Baldwin brother in drag.
Yeah. Which is a great visual.
Right. I just see Alec Baldwin playing Melania, but I think instead of Donald.
What I think is funny for you, like, I think this is good for you. What you need to do is only hang out with siblings of people you know or family of people you know, because you're in a long distance relationship. I think it'll keep your life really squared away. Yeah. You don't need to worry about anything. You can hang out with ZZ Ward all day. It's not going to matter.
Actually a great point. Where my girlfriend would be like, "Why are you hanging out with all these famous girls?" I'm like, "Because I know they're brothers, and they look exactly like their brothers."
And I don't like
their dads. They look like their dads. Yeah. And I could never. Every time I see them, I want to give them knuckle daps and play a game of poker.
What's your secret to long distance? Just hang out with people you're unattracted to because of their family.
Yeah, I feel like in my mind, I think we just reinvented some like major philosophy. Oh yeah, check this out, dude. This is how you don't cheat on your girl. Hang out with ugly people, man. It's so easy. Crazy. Bunch of idiots.
Yeah, Freud wrote that somewhere sometime at some point.
Oh, Freud writes all the obvious stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just such stupid theory.
The commander of cheese.
Oh, we needed that in there.
Brian Moote is a stand-up comedian. Brad Nolan is a stand-up dad. The Brian Moote Show with Brad Nolan.
What's up? My name is Brad. Brian Moote is here as well.
What's happening, y'all?
And what's the phone number people can text to?
Oh, you text Moote to 36260. You can get the app, which will start having, well, it has our show on that's been on every day.
Yeah.
It also has the Amp Radio morning show with myself, Edgar, and Chelsea. It also has links to stuff we talk about, and I'll be able to put up our big news we have coming down the road.
Big news, everybody.
So I want to talk about Trump and Elon Musk and just how they can't let anything in the news go without trying to claim some piece of it on social media. But first,
The commander of cheese.
before we get into that, we were just talking real quick between segments, and Freud came up. Because I was saying, just hang out with ugly people. And he's like, I'm pretty sure Freud said that somewhere, right? That's the key to monogamy, is just don't be around people hotter than you. It's like natural. It's so stupid. But I remember, man, when I took psychology, I went like Psychology 101 to get my psych degree in college at the University of Laverne. I was really into the history of psychology for like maybe a couple weeks. And then I loved like behavioral conditioning, like all that stuff, how the brain works in terms of like habits and behaviors. Then we came to Freud, and we spent about half a semester on Freud. And at the end of it, I was like, why the hell did we just waste any time on this guy? Just because all we want to do is learn all the things you shouldn't do. Like, we learned in that class, he really thought that the cure, that one, if any woman was acting crazy, it was hysteria. And the way to fix that was sex. And clearly, they're not getting it from their man at home who can't find it. But old Siggy over here, he knows what to do. So come on over here on this therapy couch. So
it's like the original, like, Harvey Weinstein style therapist.
Yeah, what the hell is wrong? Like, how the hell would that ever make sense? If you know anything about anything in the world, kids even, like, you learn that women are a little bit emotional, that they are better at forming attachments. We just naturally know those things. They're more nurturing. And you think to cure a woman who's having emotional problems or depressed or is sex with you? Like, that's like putting out a fire with gasoline. Are you crazy?
To be fair, my wife does react very positively to the sex.
Yeah, but not from your therapist.
Oh, no, yeah, I just mean like the original.
Yeah. Listen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone reacts.
She better not be having sex with my therapist.
Brad, everybody's in a better mood after an orgasm.
Right.
If you're depressed, it's not because you're not getting laid. It's because you have a chemical imbalance.
Thanks, Freud.
What a moron.
All right, let's talk Trump and Musk. A musky Trump.
All right, so if you've been paying attention to the news on CNN, or, I think every news outlet is covering at this point, but the soccer team, the group of 12, I believe it was 12 soccer players, right? Or is it 11 and a coach?
I think, I can't remember whether it's 12 and 1 or 11
a bunch of 12-year-old kids from Thailand and their coach went into these caves. And so far the details were that have come out already, but the Thai authorities being very kind of like tight-lipped about this whole thing is they went in this cave area after a game. They were celebrating one of the kids' birthdays, and this is a cave that everybody kind of goes and explores. It's not like a weird cave they just found.
Right.
And they hiked way back there. I'm assuming they got lost at some point, maybe went the wrong way, maybe just kept going. Anyways, they went really far back into the cave, and then there was a flash flood, and then they got stuck in the cave because a lot of the cave flooded, and they can't swim out of it. They don't know how to. It's pitch black. Their flashes aren't going to work underwater. And it took, they've been in there for 17 days now.
Yeah.
And what I thought was interesting is that Trump and Elon Musk are very, very skilled at using social media and current events to really push whatever, push their brand. Trump came out immediately and said, we are working with the Thai authorities to help rectify this matter. One, we were not working with the Thai authorities. We were doing nothing.
Right. Not up until, like a day after that or something like that? We got some people on the ground?
I think it took longer than that. Yeah. Now we definitely do.
Yeah.
But it's also like with Trump, it's very interesting to see what he picks and chooses to jump out on a limb in front of.
Right.
PR-wise. But he goes right after, we are helping in this tunnel thing. Like, America, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
We're going to get him out of there, right? And then Elon Musk, he says, we're creating child-sized submarines that are going to get these kids. One, dude, you don't even know what the caves look like. You don't know anything about the schematics of the cave. At some points of time in this flooded cave, you have to take your oxygen tank off, put it in front of you, still breathing through it, and shimmy your way through these tiny caves, right? And then you have to hike again to another depressed area full of water. So I just found like the arrogance of Elon Musk, be like, what? I have never even been there to Thailand. I am going to...
But I know how to fix this. I'm a disruptor.
And I know some people are probably going like, Brian, stop being such a hater. Well, okay. Elon Musk just kind of annoys me anyway. I'm going to try to set that aside.
Yeah. Every time Elon Musk comes up, you're like,
I don't know. I'm like, just make a car that works for a reasonable price. Good God, man. He's like, oh, no, the Tesla's fine. It's not fine. First of all, it's priced at anyone's price range.
Yeah.
And now you're trying to make these hovering trains that go 900 miles an hour. You're trying to get us from San Francisco to California. Work on one project at a time, as my dad would say. The master of many is the master of none. I think he made that up. That's not what he did not make that up.
No. That's been around for a long time.
Saying.
Yeah.
Like I feel like a
jack of all trades is a master of none.
Damn, that's right. I am a dabbler. I dabble in a lot of things.
You and I specifically, I think this is why we don't like Elon Musk specifically. You and I have a habit in our lives of dabbling here and there and it not working out a lot. And so at the end of the day, we didn't have a PayPal and a Tesla and a SpaceX under our belts. So we're like, screw this guy.
But also, SpaceX isn't even okay.
That's not even a real company.
Tesla is doing okay. Tesla is they're a car company, but they could also go belly up at any point in time, and their stock could plummet. And these electric cars, who knows, right? Also, like who knows how much what's going to happen to them in 15 years? Are these cars even going to last? SpaceX, they just keep launching rockets into space, and then those rocket falls, and they try to catch it in like a big mitt on the ocean on a net. Which is such a stupid way to do that. Then they got this kid submarine, right? Which they got this kid. It's just a big old stainless steel tube that also like 9 divers have to navigate this thing through the tube. And they have a little kid who's inside a cave, probably a little bit claustrophobic. Get inside this tennis ball can.
Right.
Like, this kid's going to die in there. And what if the tube gets stuck in the rock? Like, I don't think it's going to work. I applaud his ingenuity, but I also think that he's patting himself on the back more than anyone else is. And he doesn't really care about actually making sure that these things help the kids. He cares about people thinking that he did. And look I made a submarine. How about...
Yeah.
Like,
it's more about the look at me than the practicality and or the actual helping. It's the same thing like, what's his face? The guy who played Milk in Harvey.
Sean Penn.
Sean Penn. Katrina happens. Sean Penn goes down to help out, and Katrina brings a whole camera crew with him so he can show everybody what he's doing. And I think it's that kind of mentality. It's like, can't you just do it quietly? Why can't you just build a little cool submarine thing quietly? And at the end of the day, somebody else says, hey, by the way, Elon Musk made these submarines.
So then he's not the one tweeting out videos. But here's why he's doing it now, because he knows, one, it's not even going to make it to Thailand in time, and two, it's not going to work anyway. So he just wants to put all these videos out of them testing these child tennis ball can submarines that, I mean, they pulled someone out of that thing who was in it for like 5 minutes, and there's no way. I know these little kids in Thailand that are stuck in this tunnel are resilient. They are hanging in there. They are survivors. But man, don't shove them in a tennis ball can. Don't do it to them. They've suffered enough. Trust the divers. These professional divers who are navigating these caves with them in oxygen masks and tanks and things.
Yeah, it's going slow, but it's effective. It's like probably the most effective thing.
Because it's that dangerous.
Yeah.
They're in a pitch black cave. They have to hike through areas and then swim again. And these kids have been in there for 17 days. They're a little hungry. Elon Musk, make some food that can travel out in a submarine with them.
What if he could invent like an orange juice that was powder?
Right now, Elon Musk, to me, feels like the kid who was running for class president in 5th grade, who's telling you all this crazy stuff he wasn't going to do, but he's got $1 billion now, so he kind of does it. At least it looks like he is. But really, they're going to yank the curtain back, and he's going to be like, it was a joke.
To bring it back to somebody else who just says crazy things he's going to do and then ends up getting elected.
Elon Musk is going to be president.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Dude, you blew it again.
I was doing okay, and then...
You're listening to The Brian Moote Show with Brad Nolan.
My name is Brad Nolan, at Brad Nolan on everything. If you want to text directly with Brian, because I have not logged into the back end of this thing, and I don't plan to, you can text the word Moote, M-O-O-T-E, to what number?
36260. Or just find me on Twitter at MootePoints or Instagram at MooteComedy, or just type in Moote to Google and see what happens.
He's winning that battle. Okay, what do we have now?
All right, well, a couple things. One, I wanted to give people a World Cup update.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of where I'm at. Okay, in my standings. This would be the first time, too, by the way. I've never won a sports bet in my life, and I'm very close. Very close to winning $800.
Oh, really? Like you're the whole thing? Is this the whole pot? The whole?
Yeah,
thing?
we're in the semifinals of the World Cup. And I will say this, man. I was on vacation in the North Georgia mountains and was still glued to the World Cup. Like, because once you have teams that you're betting on, you're rooting for your wallet and the country. Right. So I'm in this pool with a bunch of Boston comedians, and it was like 16 people. Everyone puts in $50. Winner takes all. But teams are randomly assigned, which is the cool part, right? That's cool. So I got France and I got Belgium, both still in it. Even better, in the semifinals, both on opposite sides of the bracket.
Oh, so one's not going to eliminate the other one.
No.
Okay.
But if they do, it's in the finals, and I still win
no matter
$800.
What. Yeah.
Right. So I'm down to the final four, and it's funny because I'm just now rooting. I find myself rooting for either a country that I like better than the other one. So like when it was Croatia versus Russia, well, I got to be honest. I feel like some Russian players who played poorly are going to wind up missing very shortly. I did feel kind of bad for them. I was like, oh my God, these Russian guys are playing for their life. They are playing for their lives.
Actually playing for their lives.
I don't think Putin's going to take this well.
It shouldn't be funny, but it is.
Well, I don't trust, like, first of all, Russia is the fakest democracy I think to ever exist.
Democracy.
Right.
Putin's been president for like 30 years.
Well, they say it's right. It has, I don't know, since some other Vladimir.
No, he was elected.
Did he take over after Stalin?
Term limits, right? And then he's like, okay, I'm going to make myself prime minister now. And then he ended the rule about the president having term limits and then became president.
I just don't trust any of it. But if you are watching the World Cup this week, we need France and we need Croatia to be in the finals, because then I don't have to worry about it because I win $800 and I'm taking you all out to Applebee's.
With $800?
I mean, that you can eat good in the neighborhood for $800. They should sponsor this segment. Yes. Eating good in the neighborhood with Brian and Brad. I was just on vacation. Brad, you're going on vacation next week, right?
Yeah.
You're going out to Ocean Shores, Washington?
Yeah, Ocean Shores, Washington. Nice little town out in the middle of nowhere on the West Coast. Not the kind of West Coast you see in movies, but the kind of West Coast you'd see in like
Twilight.
A Stephen King movie.
It's Twilight, dude. It's Kurt Cobain documentary.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's literally right next to the town Kurt Cobain grew up in. And if his career tells you anything, it's a depressing place.
Yeah, that part of Washington is very depressing. It's beautiful when it's nice, but that's Washington in general. Beautiful when it's nice.
Yeah.
When it's not, it can be very just damp. Yeah. I describe it as damp. And if you live in a damp area, my mom, she currently lives like at the base of a hill in the woods. Very beautiful on sunny days in the summertime. In the winter, I'd say there's like 4 or 5 months where it's basically the whole driveway is just a big, sloppy, disgusting mess.
Yeah.
And she'll try every year to go get gravel. And the gravel just sinks through the mud.
It's just going to be...
Just sadly.
This is how it is.
I went on vacation to Atlanta, but I went for the first time to the North Georgia mountains, to Helen, Georgia, up near Tennessee, the Blue Ridge Mountains. And... it's a little German-themed town. I know a lot of mountain towns do this where they change everything. They got a little
there's
theme.
one in Washington, actually, too, called Leavenworth.
Yeah, Leavenworth.
Yeah.
Same thing. So they got little beer gardens, and it's all about, I mean, that's where I kicked off my vacation with eating.
Wiener Schnitzel, and Sauerbraten. And
I ate a pretzel with beer cheese. Like, I would go to a German restaurant and go, you know what, I'm going to get a salad. And I look at it, I'm like, the hell are these?
I'm going to need 8 of these.
This is disgusting. Look at this meat salad. Get out of here. So I just get a pretzel with beer cheese and drink just massive pints of weird German lagers. But we stayed in a cabin. It was a dog-friendly cabin about 15, 20 minutes outside of the town. We had no neighbors around us. It was very Strangers, the movie Strangers. Yeah. Where it would be my nightmare. Like, you're in the woods and somebody's like, knock on the door with an axe, and you're like, hello. They're like, why are you trying to kill us? What did we do? And they're like, nothing.
You're just here.
You answered the door, dummy. So, but they were dog friendly. Well, that whole town was pretty dog friendly, actually.
Yeah, Germans like dogs.
And I feel like once you get out of the major city anywhere,
nobody
people are
cares.
Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
I mean, your dog's fine.
Yeah, no cats, but dogs are fine.
I actually got to be honest. I'm going to do vacations more to just weird mountainy, villagey town areas. It's just, there's nothing really to do, which for me forces me to do not a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Except go, hey, there's a river. Let's go sit with our feet in it for 2 hours and drink beer, which to some people sounds like a dream. To me, before going last week, get out of here. I'm going to go sit. I mean, what's going on Twitter right now?
Yeah.
I mean, of course, I did crush it on Instagram stories. I mean, my Instagram was popping.
When you got service again.
Yeah.
Right? It's so much content.
Oh, man. For some reason, I don't know what this, because Declan always runs for me. Your daughter always runs for me.
Yeah.
But then when I'm not around, she loves the idea of me.
Oh, she talks about Uncle Brian all the time.
Right. Which is funny, but then she runs for me, but then I'm like,
that's just her personality. She's going to be that way, and
right.
I'm thankful for it.
Yeah, right. Get away from me. I like the idea of you. But for some reason, man, like little girls kept gravitating towards me, like way more than like little boys. Like little boys would be like, there was all these little kids running around because it's a summer town where everyone's like visiting grandparents.
Right.
And most of the little girls that would come up and just literally hang out, they'd wander up because they're not subtle.
Like you're sitting on a log.
Yeah, like I was just sitting there drinking a beer with holding on to 2 dogs, and this little girl, Marley, she's probably 4, walks up and just like, I like your dog, and just starts petting it, and then she starts hugging her, and then she takes the leash from me and she starts walking off. And her grandma was like, that's fine. And I'm like, okay. And then, but then I got to watch her.
Yeah,
no, that's not fine.
Now I'm on the hook.
Yeah. And the grandma was like, that's fine. You guys can walk your dogs. I'm like, I don't want to walk the dogs. The dogs were just sleeping right here. They were totally fine. That was one of them. And I took a picture of her as a joke. And I was like, it's not kidnapping if they're cute, right? Like she's like hugging my dog and stuff.
Right.
And her grandparents were like, thank you so much. Like she's her parents are complete disasters, and she's with us for the month or for the entire summer. Or the little one, the 4-year-old Marley, was with her grandparents for like the indefinite future. Then the next day, this girl Lexi, she was like 7.5. And I was just sitting at a river, my feet in it, just chilling, wandering on the river with our Labradoodle, Leo, because he's never been to a river, so this kid couldn't get this dog out of the water.
Yeah.
He's like all over it, right? She just sits down and starts talking to me, talk. Her grandpa, she's telling about her grandpa John. He's down the way. She's up from Jacksonville for the summer. Her mom and dad are going through IVF treatments. Like, she's telling me all this crazy stuff. Like, I'm her best friend in the world. She's like, well, my mom's trying to give me a brother or sister. They're taking medication for it. And then they wanted me to stay up here for a month. It's okay up here. It's not my favorite, but I'm with Grandpa John, learning how to fish. And so I end up like helping this girl. We sit on this log with our feet in the river. My girlfriend took a picture of it on Instagram. This girl talked my ear off for 2 hours. And I couldn't get out of it. I kept like going, we got to go, right? We got it. And my girlfriend would be like, no, we're good.
Here's the thing, though. I'm
like,
I know part of you wanted to get out of it. I think part of you was like, man, kids are cool. I could do this.
I was pretty on board with it. It was like once they could talk, I'm down.
Shut up, you stupid imaging. All right, sorry.
Oh, are you gonna edit that?
No, that's not the kind of show we have.
Well, that's funny because I opened the show being like, "Hey, Brad just messed up so bad." Hey, at the end, do you want to edit that? The last thing.
No.
I want me to be perfect. I want you to look like a flaming hot bag of garbage.
The Brian Moote Show with Brad Nolan.
I can't believe it.
That Gerald is presenting the quarterly budget report with finger puppets?
Look, here comes a 1.7% decrease in fixed overhead. Hello, everybody.
No, I can't believe how easy it was to save hundreds of dollars on my car insurance with Geico.
Who are you? The projected increase in organic Q3 revenue. Hooray!
Believe it, Geico could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Hear that? That's the sweet sound of Minute Maid slushies at McDonald's, turning up your summer with every sip, slurp, and ah.
Get a small sweet peach, blue raspberry, or fruit punch slushie for just $2. Or get any size soft drink for $1. Price and participation may vary, limited time only, cannot be combined with combo meal.